Hey love bugs, welcome back to another Tarot Lover Reviews. Today we are taking a look at the Housewives Tarot. So if you have heard of this tarot deck or you did not know this tarot deck even existed, hopefully this review and the flip through that comes afterwards helps you to decide on whether or not this tarot deck is right for you. Now, if you want to skip straight to the flip through, I totally understand. Check out my description. I break everything out into chapters to make it easier for you to locate where you want to start. But for right now, we are going to talk about the packaging. We're going to talk about the guidebook. We're going to talk about the cards. We're talking cardstock, backings, imagery, naming convention, all the things. So if you are interested in all those details, stick around. If not, feel free to fast forward to that flip through. But we are going to start with the packaging. So this is what the box looks like, and it is definitely a different shape than the normal tarot decks that you will typically see out there. But yeah, you'll see in a moment why it looks this way. And so it opens this in this direction, and it is a recipe box. They shaped it in a way that it makes it look like a recipe box, a Housewives tarot, right? So you do, as you can see, you have these inserts, and they're dividers that are that divide out, you know, the deck, and then the minor, the major, and the guidebook. So you have those dividers here, and then you have this like felt insert inside to help angle the deck at an angle, right? So that is the packaging. But I want to talk more about the inserts. So let me take them out really quick. This is what the inserts look like up close. So you have the name of the deck, and then you have the major arcana, you have the minor arcana, and then you have the guidebook, right? Well, not only are these dividers, but they have recipes on the backs of them. Just 3 of them, not the last one. It's all the little fine prints to this particular tarot deck. But yeah, you get legit recipes on the backs of these cards. There's a recipe for Madame Marlena's Mystical Martini, divinated eggs, and an ice box fortune cake. So I absolutely, it is literally the little things that they've done with this box. And you know what? I'm not done even showing you the rest of the packaging. So here is the section where you put the name, your name here, saying that this is your recipe box, right? And then you have right here testimonials from housewives about this tarot deck. So you have them right here, and then this is what the other side of the inner part of the box is, and then you have a coupon. It is the details with this tarot deck, and it's so interesting because I don't think very many people realize that this tarot deck is out there. I just so happened to stumble upon this tarot deck while I was searching through Amazon. I found it, and I'm so glad that I did. It is so unique. So that is the packaging. Let's talk about the guidebook. So the guidebook literally looks like one of those composition books that you would have. And I mean, the housewives back in the day would write in their little books their recipes, right? So again, another little piece of, you know, piece to add to the theme of this tarot deck. Now, the cards in here, you do get a picture of what the card looks like for each and every single card. Although it is not in the color that you see it on the cards. In the book, it's more of like a sepia kind of color, but you at least get a view of what that card looks like along with the description. Now with the description, it is a little bit different in this book. The description for each card is worded in a way that is more housewifey. you see the keywords, the key phrases that they say within the description that would lead you to say, yep, that's true. That is that card and all that stuff. So you do get, in a sense, what that card is and you know, what it's depicting, but the verbiage for the description is in a way of a housewife, right? So that is what you will kind of run into when it comes to the description. Now, I believe there are tarot spreads, and I think it's towards the front. Yeah. So you get several tarot spreads in this guidebook, and they're all themed tarot spreads, which if you've seen my videos, I love. I get so happy when creators of the guidebook add tarot spreads that are themed to their tarot deck, because I feel like it just adds that something special. It helps you to connect with your tarot deck on a deeper level, kind of get to know your tarot deck. When you use a tarot spread themed tarot spread. So yeah, that is what you will find within the guidebook. And I do love the paper that they use. I don't normally really notice the paper when it comes to the guidebooks, but this one feels very interesting. It's not a bad thing. Maybe it's just part of, you know, the theme, but overall, I love the guidebook. So there's that. Now let's talk about the cards. So this is what the backs of the cards look like. Okay, it's that picnic checkered red pattern, okay? And it is matte. So it is a matte finish. There is no gloss, nothing like that. It is just paper matte. I love the cardstock on this deck. It is Goldilocks zone. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Goldilocks zone is when you can shuffle a tarot deck beautifully. There is no strain within your hands, and I'm coming from a poker style shuffle. Okay, I know a lot of people tend to shuffle their cards differently. You know, there's that under over method, but in this case, I'm talking about shuffling your cards in that poker style, you know, shuffle, right? When you can do that and not feel like your hands, your fingers are straining to bend the cards, or you feel like you're over bending your cards when you shuffle, it's the perfect cardstock. And that's what I mean by the Goldilocks zone. It makes for a perfect shuffle. This cardstock is beautiful. So it is not too thin, not too thick. If you have not seen my reviews, I tend to do a C scale to visually give you an idea, but nothing beats actually having the cards within your hands. And believe me, you will love the cardstock on this. But just to give you a visual idea of what I'm talking about, you have paper thin cardstock, you have that Goldilocks zone, and then you have really thick cardstock that makes it hard to bend, like to the point where you try to do this and you can't go in either direction because it's so thick. Whereas if it was the paper thin, you could probably bend your cards all the way to the end and not like crease it. You know what I mean? So this one, starting from Goldilocks, probably goes down a little bit onto the thicker side. It is still in the Goldilocks zone, but I feel like when I hold on to it, when I put the cards between my fingers, I do kind of feel that thickness. So it kind of goes into the thicker side, but not by much. Again, it is the perfect thickness to do a perfect poker shuffle. Now, let's talk about the card size, because they are a tad shorter or smaller than your average tarot card. So I have a average one from the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, and just to give you an idea of what it looks like, that is the difference in size. Okay, so it is a little bit shorter, which I have no problem with because it just makes it a lot easier to handle in your hands, regardless of how you're planning to shuffle your cards. It just makes for a really good shuffle. You have a better control over the cards with them being this size. So that is the cards. Let's talk about the naming convention. Let's talk about the imagery. So in regards to the naming convention and the imagery, I'm comparing it with the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, okay? Only because a lot of the guidebooks out there, a lot of the other tarot decks out there are widely known for taking inspiration from the, you know, one of the biggest, most popular tarot decks out there. I don't want to say it was the first tarot deck because technically there were others before this. But anyways, that is another story. So that's what I'm comparing it to, because a lot of new tarot readers out there are typically starting off with the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery and utilizing that as a tarot deck. It's always good to be able to tell whether or not, you know, is this tarot deck pulling inspiration from the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck and all that good stuff. So that is what I'm doing my comparison to. So in regards to the naming convention, as far as the suits and the major arcana, I mention this because when tarot creators create their tarot decks, they don't necessarily have to go with the same naming convention as the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is Pentacles, Cups, Swords, and Wands, and then you have the well-known major arcana. Some will change the names. Some will change one of the names. Some will change some of the major arcana, but leave the minors alone. So again, this is another reason why I want to bring this up, so you know exactly what to expect when you receive this particular tarot deck. So in regards to the naming convention, the minor arcana are all the same. You have Pentacles, Cups, Wands, and Swords. And then the major arcana are exactly the same. There are no differences. Now, I will say, image-wise, I love what they did with the cards because they've given each card a border and a color for that border to correlate with the specific element that that card is meant for, or just to be able to say, hey, this particular color is for swords, this particular color is for pentacles, and so on. So for the majors, you have a black border, okay? And then for wands, you have this like light brown or almost like a brown yellow color. Then pentacles, you have this green color. And then for cups, you have this blue color. And then for swords, you have this red color. So you can tell, and I apologize, you guys are probably going to notice this within the flip through. There's going to be some scuffles and stuff around the edges of this deck because it has been well loved by me, okay? I'm showing you guys tarot decks from my collection, and I use my cards in my collection. They don't sit around. So if you see some scuffle marks on these tarot decks, it's because I have been using them. Some of them I have been using for years. Some of them I've only gotten this year, so they'll be more of a newer condition. But yeah, I just felt, especially when I created this tarot channel, this review channel, I wanted to show off all the tarot decks that I have and love and share it with those who are looking to, you know, purchase their first deck or purchase, you know, a deck that they've been interested in, but they just can't see all of the cards or know all of the things. This is why I wanted to do this channel, was to at least give some information to you guys so you knew what to expect when you purchased, you know, that particular deck. So yeah, you will see some scuffle marks on these cards when you go through the flip through. That's because it's from me, okay? Do not think that this is what you're going to see when you purchase your cards. No, that's all me, okay? It's well loved. So yeah. That's what you can find in regards to the borders on each of the cards. The imagery is hilarious, okay? It is like they are making fun of they're making light, or I'm not saying that, you know, being a housewife is hilarious and things like that. It's just the way that they depict these cards is hilarious. And it's almost like, you know, it's like it's trying to explain how these women love what they do. They take pride in what they do. But if you screw something up within their house, they will cut you. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not saying that they're making fun of housewives in general. I'm saying that they are, you know, making light of things. I mean, is that really what I want to say? I don't know, but I love it. It's just, it makes you laugh, and they're super relatable at the same time. It's like, yeah, I feel you. I know exactly how you're feeling right now. You know, I can relate, you know, kind of thing. So the imagery is beautiful. I have no pain points on this tarot deck whatsoever. Definitely watch the major arcana because they are hilarious, and the things that they choose for each card just makes sense 100%. So hopefully this review has helped you in some way. I hope. If it has, let me know by liking this video, and take a look at my channel. See if there's another tarot deck that I have reviewed that you might be interested in getting more information on. If there is a tarot deck that you're looking for that I have not done a review on, please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know so that I can check to see if I already have the tarot deck, because I wouldn't be surprised. If I don't have it, it just gives me another reason to buy another tarot deck for myself. But seriously, let me know if there's a tarot deck you would like me to review, and I will look into it. But without further ado, everyone, here's the flip through, and enjoy. Bye, guys.